What's up, good people? Welcome back to Travel Tips and Recommendations with Nikki and Tommie. I'm Tommie.
Yep, and I'm Nikki. We had an amazing time on our fam trip to Riviera, Mexico. And if you want to know what a fam is, check out our latest video we did. Tell you all about it.
Yes, and unique, yes. Fam trip, true, but it was unique because this is the first time we've been on a fam where there were other travel advisors and travel agency owners on the fam trip with us that were from San Antonio, our home base.
Typically when we go on those type of trips, they're just travel advisors from all over the place. So this was a special type of fam for that, for sure.
Yeah, and we are all part of the San Antonio Travel Advisors Network, and we were hosted at Dorado Royale by Lomas Hospitality. And let's just say it started off smooth.
Yeah. So neither one of us had ever visited this resort before, and I actually had never heard of it as it's called El Dorado. It used to be Charisma property, and you had never heard of it either, right?
Nope.
So we're ready to inform you all about it. So I hope you're ready. Mm-hmm. You ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
All right. So my first impression was given to me because we arrived at the resort, and stepping off the van, we were greeted with cool towels, smiles, and cold drinks.
Very refreshing drinks,
yep.
For sure. That was our favorite.
Yep. Absolutely.
It was a perfect welcome for us.
It was. And the lobby had that luxury look and feel to it. So the tone was set immediately that this is not just your average all-inclusive resort. Mm-hmm. But I will say, before we talk about the rest of the resort, is I was impressed that they had a wheelchair ramp at the front door, because you don't see that a lot, especially when you talk to resorts and even some hotels.
Yeah.
So shout out to El Dorado for having that
foresight.
Yeah, foresight and having that wheelchair ramp. That was outstanding.
All right. So after we did the check-in, mm-hmm. we were driven on golf carts with our luggage to our room.
Yes. And
there are no elevators. So just be aware of that. And if you have trouble climbing stairs, make sure the reservation, your room is on the first floor. So talk to your local travel advisors.
Yeah,
Jones Getaways to make that happen for you. And
we're talking about El Dorado Royale only, because you'll see later that the other resorts we did, visited, they did have elevators. Right. Yes. So if you have trouble climbing stairs, she told you what to do. All right. Our suite was on the third floor, so guess what? Up the stairs we went. We opened up the door, went to our room, and I'm gonna tell you, it was very spacious. As soon as you walk in, on your left, it had the bathroom, which had a large shower. It had a standalone water closet, had 2 sinks, mm-hmm. which every couple wants.
Absolutely.
And then the biggest thing was it had a huge bathtub with power jets and everything. Yeah. It was a little outdated, but at the same thing, it was it was definitely set up for romance. Mm-hmm. We finished walking through the room. You go past the bathroom, and it opens up, and that's where the bed was. And one thing I noticed immediately, there weren't a lot of plugs for all my gadgets that I like to bring. Mm-hmm. One of them being a sleep apnea machine. But anyway.
Because we need that too. And it was a little dark in the room too, so it definitely needed updating in the room. Yeah. But outside of that, the room looked great. It was clean and maintained very well.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But the closer you looked, you could tell that it was an older room, looking at the furniture, looking at the walls, looking at the closet, and definitely due for an upgrade. But like she said, it was comfortable and very clean. Mm-hmm. And we had a nice little balcony with a great little garden view. So it was nice.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Great start for it. So then let's talk about the food, mm-hmm. which is your favorite.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we had a late lunch upon our arrival. Mm-hmm. We ate at the Asian restaurant called Kampai.
Yes, the decor was great. It had that Asian setting, that Asian feel, and then the food. It was sort of like a tasting session, mm-hmm. to where they brought all the food to the table, and you could find what was great for you. So it was a perfect way to start our visit, because it's given us that first impression of, okay, I see what you're doing here.
Yeah, mm-hmm. And then we went to dinner that night. And oh my goodness,
game changer.
it was beautiful. We had dinner on the pier.
Yes.
The staff set up this amazing presentation that led to an outstanding meal. But first, we had some staff introductions, you know, shaking hands and, you know, kissing babies and things, making our rounds with the staff. And once we got seated for dinner, they had a mariachi band come out, and that mariachi band was to see the uniforms that they had on, the bright blue royal color, blue colors.
Yeah, there was a lot of them too, and they surrounded the table, and then they had a lady take the lead, and she was singing. Yeah, it was just beautiful, and we like mariachi band.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and at dinner I had the salmon. Loved it.
That would be a theme in this thing. But I had the short rib, and I'll just tell you, the meal was amazing. And then they had a very good cheesecake at the end. So I'm happy, right? And if we were to identify some things that were a little off that kept this day from being perfect, the bed was very firm. Here's a pro tip for you. You can request a mattress pad.
Yeah. Worst thing they could do is say no.
Yeah.
They didn't want it, you know, or they didn't have them, but just request it. We also found there were some ants in the water closet, bathroom floor, but to their credit, the staff responded quickly and professionally.
Yeah, they did.
No issues.
No issues, no hesitation. By the time we walked out, by the time we came back, they'd cleaned it up, cleaned the whole floor up. So that was amazing. Yeah. And then also, just a heads up, the golf cart paths, they're kind of narrow for going and coming traffic. So just be careful because it's very tight, especially if you're walking. And then it gets dark in some parts. So if you're walking around at night, just be careful. If you have one, bring a flashlight.
Right. Yeah.
Because we had some close calls.
Yeah. Day 2 started out with the room service for breakfast. Really good. It was timely. I had the salmon again. Love salmon.
See what I mean? I ordered an omelet, and I had all the fixings, everything I could put on it, and it was very good. Now, here's a tip for you. The menu for room service is on the TV, Channel 5 specifically. Take a picture of it with your phone. You'll thank us later.
Meaning is it goes round really quickly and you'll miss it. Yep. So after that, we toured the Dorado Royale, the Seaside, Palms, Maroma, and Generations properties.
Each resort had its own vibe. Maroma, I'll talk about a little later, but that's my favorite so far. All right.
The Palms was romantic. The Seaside has the ocean fronts and the swim ups, and the Generations, I think that was probably one of my favorite properties though, because it was perfect for families and for group travels. And
a lot to do.
Yeah.
A lot to do. Day 2 dinner we had, it was at Hob, Haab, their Indian restaurant there. And they arranged for the chefs to come out and cook in front of us or prepare some meals in front of us. And then it was just like another tasting of all their food.
Beautiful setup. The great variety of the different culturally Indian foods, and it all tasted great. It was another win for the food. Yeah,
I will say that the food on this trip was very top tier.
Yeah. And then day 3, we started our room service again. Breakfast, don't judge us. But then they had a presentation from the staff about the resorts and what they had to offer. And we walked through different beautiful wedding presentations of everything that they can provide for your clients, our clients.
Then the ritual. So we were told before we came there to bring an all-white outfit that we can wear, so that we can go down to a ceremony, a shaman ceremony. And so we did that, right? And then after the presentation, we got on the golf carts, and they drove us about 5-10 minutes away into an area where there's a dried out cenote. So basically a sinkhole that you can look into. And they had chairs and everything set up. And when we got out of the golf cart, you could hear music playing on the drums and the rattles.
And I admit it kind of looked a little showy though. Yeah. You know, because of how everyone, not to be disrespectful at all, but it just kind of just seemed a little bit like that. But then once you got a chance to hear the shaman speak though.
Yeah, you couldn't. So we had a shaman experience in Peru, and it was our only shaman experience, and so we didn't know what to expect before Peru. And when we had it, it was very simple and very spiritual and related to the earth. And there was one man performing the ritual, and so that was what we thought shamans did. Yeah. But then we had to understand this is an entirely different culture, and once we got our heads right, you know, we could start to see, okay, now I understand what's going on. But like she said, when the shaman started to speak, you could tell how serious he was. You could tell that it was heartfelt, yeah. And it was a moment where no matter what you believe in, if you believe in a God, that God was touched, because the way he spoke and the words coming out, you could feel
the honesty in his voice.
It was just good. And it wasn't about like his religion, it was about religion. It was about a spiritual experience, and he focused on the words: be kind, be considerate, be righteous. Now,
how can you go wrong with that? You know, in all of our pursuits of happiness, you know, it was simple, powerful, well received, and it was just another amazing moment that we'll never forget.
Yep, another outstanding moment. Then it was time to Catamaran, and you know your boy liked to snorkel.
Yeah.
So this time we hit up Destino Maroma. This is where the overwater bungalows are, and I'm gonna tell you, these overwater bungalows now, they can compete with any other overwater bungalows that we visited. Mm-hmm. I will say, with the seaweed and what was going on in the Caribbean and Mexico, that the water wasn't as clear and you didn't see all the fish that you'd normally see.
Yeah, but the bungalows itself, though, were very nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice. It was the Caribbean Polynesian islands. Yes. The ones like you'll see there. But everything was stunning. It was catamaran time. Yeah. You know, it was off to the calmer waters, and you know, different than our Jamaica experience on a catamaran. If you want to see that video, Dunn's River, so you can see how your boy did on there.
It's funny how she goes to my weak moment. But anyway, your boy didn't throw up this time. The waters were much calmer. Did get to go snorkeling again, and the great thing about it this time was when I was snorkeling, I actually got to see a lot of life. You know, I got to swim beside a daggone sea turtle. Seriously. Got to see a squid running away from us and burrowed into the rocks at the bottom. And then the multiple colors of fish, and they were all in schools, and just looking at them.
Schools of fishes.
It was a great experience that it's what I expect snorkeling to be. Yeah, when you don't throw up. But anyway, had a good time. So your boy, you know,
I was on the side. I ain't snorkel. I watched him from the catamaran.
Nikki's not snorkeling with anybody.
Nope.
And then our last day of fun, it was farewell dinner. Mm-hmm. We got to, in the evening, of course, we got to have a cocktail. What is it called? Cocktail hour. There you go. A cocktail hour with the staff. Mm-hmm. So we got to basically secure the friendships we developed with the staff, and, you know, mingling with the other travel advisors. And it was definitely a vibe. It was a great way to solidify the relationships we've developed. It was a chance
to talk to them and inform them of our thoughts, you know, of the week and everything that they did for us. Right. And they did inform us that they know that some of the rooms needed to be renovated, and there was almost a little over 30 rooms that are already renovated now, which is a nice modern look to them.
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Lighter.
For Royale specifically.
Yes, lighter, just lighter, cleaner and more modern is the best way.
Yeah, so they said it's coming. So just be aware if you want to come out, you know, we have to ask for the newer rooms,
Yes.
category rooms for them if they're available.
Yeah.
But after we had the cocktail hour, we had our final dinner
Yes.
at the D'Italia Villas, which
Yeah.
was authentic and it was flavorful. It was a very solid ending to a full 4 days.
Yeah, and then go to sleep, wake up, and time to go. Checkout
home.
was easy. We made it to the airport, and then we made it back home, so no problems. So as we mentioned, this is the first time we've been on a fam where we've been with other travel advisors and agency owners from the same city. So we'd like to shout out again to South Texas Travel Advisors Network.
Yep, and Leticia specifically. Yes.
Yeah. She did a great job setting it up and made sure that we were well taken care of.
Right.
So thank you for that.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll just say, overall, my opinion, El Dorado Royale, once those renovations are finished, easily one of the top tier
Solid properties.
resorts. I'd even say past solid. One of the top tier resorts that you can go to in Cancun, especially because it's not the regular resorts that you'd go to, you know. So it's another great option to go down to Cancun and just be surrounded by trees and vegetation and flowers, and it was
just beautiful property,
very,
for sure.
Very good.
Yeah, I
agreed.
definitely recommend it. So if you have any weddings or honeymoons, anniversaries that you want to celebrate, we highly recommend going to this property to celebrate those. You know, contact us. We can get you there.
Yep. And that, good people, is our full review of El Dorado Royale and the fam trip experience with Lomas Hospitality.
Yep, we got more videos coming. So if you love travel, culture, and honest reviews,
just make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell.
Yep. Remember to always travel smart, travel often, and travel safe.
Absolutely. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.